Bring in Chris Sims, who knows a lot about football, though. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. I was wondering. I mean, first off, Fritzy texted me, I think after the first weekend of football or basketball, telling me I was in the lead. And I was like, oh, great. Wow. I can't believe I was in the lead. But all my Final Four teams were like out of it already. So I knew I was going to get killed there. So that was a good game to watch last night. I feel bad for Gonzaga. You have a year like that, and then to lose that way where it was never even close. I do feel for them, but Baylor clearly better.
Yeah, you had Virginia, Michigan, Villanova, and Illinois as your Final Four.
Oh, man.
You went 0 for 4?
I went over 4. I'll be back next year. I didn't watch much college basketball this year, so I need to pay attention a little bit more. For whatever reason, I just didn't get into it this year.
All right, let's grade what the Jets did by trading Sam Darnold to Carolina.
Well, I mean, listen, I like it. One first thing off the bat, Dan, I'm a Zach Wilson fan. I think it's special. Yeah. I think that's ultimately what they're thinking too. They're seeing, or their opinions line up with me to where, wait, okay, film was great. Oh, wait, now we had pro day. Whoa, holy cow, everything we saw in film he can do, in the pro day setting. So that kind of solidifies that aspect of it. And of course, I'm sure they got to meet with them and talk to them a little bit more to where they check off all the boxes. So yeah, I love it. It's Joe Douglas. He's taking a quarterback to start his era, and he's going to build a team with a young nucleus around this young quarterback. Sam Darnold's still really good. I still have faith in him. But yeah, for me, this was the right decision for the Jets because I think Zach Wilson's kind of that Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes type talent.
Now, Steve Young, the Hall of Fame quarterback, was on KNBR in San Francisco, and he said that Zach Wilson, his family wants to have him go to the Niners. Could you see Zach Wilson say, hey, I don't want to go to the Jets here?
Whoa. I mean, that would be some gutsy play. It's the same offense either way. I mean, that we do know. Now, of course, hey, I got respect for Mike LaFleur, but he's not Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is arguably the most creative offensive play caller in football, certainly in everybody's top 3 or 4, that's for sure. John Beck, who coaches Zach Wilson, he, of course, played for Kyle Shanahan, so I'm sure there's some things he's heard, but, again, I think that's dicey water. Would I love that from my friend, and would I love to see Zach Wilson out there in that offense with that football team? Sure, of course I would. But I don't know. I don't know if this is Zach Wilson's that type of guy that's going to pull this type of move off.
All right, Carolina gets Sam Darnold.
I think it's a perfect fit for Carolina. I think the first thing that goes to my mind is, okay, Carolina didn't like what they might get at number 8 as far as drafting a quarterback, right? I think that's the first thing that kind of went, ooh, what's going to happen with these 5 first-round quarterbacks now? But then when they just talk about Sam Darnold, and, I know I've talked to you about this a little bit. He didn't have a support system. Carolina's going to run that Joe Brady, a.k.a. Sean Payton offense that we saw. They want a Joe Burrow, Drew Brees type of guy. Not necessarily like the biggest arm guys in the world, but guys who are smart, can get the ball out of their hand in a hurry, and phenomenal intermediate thrower. That's where I always look at Sam Darnold and just evaluate him and go, ooh, great 12-yard throw. Ooh, great 15-yard in cut. Wow, ooh, 20-yard, skinny post. Perfect. All of that. And I think that's the way they want to run their offense that way, let alone with the receivers they have, and Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, who's a superstar, and McCaffrey coming out and all of that. I just think Darnold's a more talented football player and can deliver more for the offense and talent they have there in Carolina.
I'm curious if, and I've said this before, reported this, that there are 4 different people who've said that the Niners are taking Mac Jones, but I was told that there was still some questions about, is Trey Lance make more sense? Whether that's true or not, that's what I was told. Now you have Atlanta at 4. What's Atlanta doing? Do they get Matt Ryan's successor, or do they give him some ammo here to make another run?
I know. Well, that's the million-dollar question, and I think they are. Again, you know my thoughts. I think the 49ers are going to go Mac Jones. All right, I do. I think that's also why you see Carolina make this move, because they were probably hoping, wait, Mac Jones, he could be that Joe Burrow, Drew Brees guys we talk about to run our offense. So that's why they moved on from that. But Atlanta is one of the mysteries. I mean, everybody in the NFL thinks they're hot on Trey Lance at number 4. It makes sense as far as the situation's concerned. I think he's a guy that needs to sit behind somebody for a year. And learn how to play and polish and learn how to read defenses and go through progressions. You don't see a ton of that. Life was made very easy for him at North Dakota State. They ran the ball. It was play actions. It was 1 or 2 guys, and then he'd take off and run and do that. So from that standpoint, it makes sense. But, I mean, the era we're in right now, 2021, what is Matt Ryan, 36 years old? I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but he's got a lot of good years left here to where I just don't know if I would quite be thinking about making the quarterback move yet. And I would think, man, Ryan Tannehill plays similar to Ryan Tannehill, who Arthur Smith just came from there with the Tennessee Titans. And I would think that would be a perfect fit or a perfect match together.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if you plug Kyle Pitts in there.
I know. That's what I hear you. You're right. Plug a Kyle Pitts in there, and that'll change their team when you talk about Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and now him at tight end. And he's a solid blocker, not a great blocker, but willing and going to do that. You look at all those things, and, yeah, they're going to have something special there to deal with on that side of the ball.
But I'm also wondering, you have Cincinnati at 5.
Yeah.
And I don't know is somebody going to trade up? Is somebody going to trade up to 4 with Atlanta? Is somebody going to trade up to 5? Is Denver going to do anything here? It feels like, that quarterback carousel, we got the game of musical chairs, and somebody's not going to have a seat here.
I agree. I think that's what's interesting. And I think what Atlanta, you might hear, at least from my standpoint, as we go further here, I think there's also the possibility they go, wait, if we want Trey Lance, it doesn't seem like we got to take him at 4. Maybe they could trade down a little bit like that. Again, pick number 4 for a quarterback who didn't play last year. And then even the year before that, like we talked about, the game was made simple and there's very few drop back passes. Man, that would scare the hell out of me, Dan. There's just no way I'd pick a quarterback like that in the top 5. There's absolutely no way. But I think to your point, now with the Carolina seat filled, Denver, I have a hard time thinking they're going to draft a quarterback. I could see them maybe getting the Teddy Bridgewater conversation or something like that to compete with Drew Lock. If Drew Lock falls apart early in the season, hey, we got Teddy Bridgewater to fall back on. I could certainly see that. But, after you get past that top 10 and those teams we just mentioned, who else is there? Maybe New England at 15, maybe Washington at 19. That's where it does get interesting, and it could be one of those things where a few of these guys fall to later in the first round. I would not be shocked by that.
I thought New England might go up.
Right.
But
I think, yes. I think I had that same thought that they might go up, but my thought was it would be to go up to get Mac Jones, and now Shanahan and the 49ers have squashed that. So I'm sure that's changed their plans a little bit too, and who knows? Again, I think Kellen Mond from Texas A&M is a first-round quarterback. And maybe New England's got their eye on him in the second round. Trade up then, do something like that. Yeah. There's still some guys out there that got some talent.
McLevin has a poll question for you, Chris.
Okay. Which team had the best offseason in the quarterback market so far? The Rams getting Matthew Stafford, the Panthers getting Sam Darnold, the Jets trading Sam Darnold, the Lions getting Jared Goff, the 49ers trading up to 3, or the Bears getting Andy Dalton.
Whoa, okay. So we know it's not the Bears, okay? I mean,
hey.
All right. So we're going to really, for me, it comes down to the Zach Wilson Jets and the Matthew Stafford Rams. And I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford and the Rams right now. I am. Yeah. I mean, that was a big-time move by the Los Angeles Rams to pull that off. And Stafford, as we all know, has some really, really special abilities about his game. It's one of the greatest arms ever. He's been in some crap situations. So now to see him on that team with that defense, now McVay can open up the playbook a little bit. I think that's the one I'm most excited about. And, of course, he's a proven commodity, not like these, first-round picks that we haven't seen play yet. I know what I'm getting in Matthew Stafford.
Although he hasn't won a game in the playoffs.
Oh, I know. Well, it's not he can't catch the ball or not call penalties like he did in the Dallas game or the Seattle playoff game. It wasn't his fault they didn't win those games. I think there is a difference to that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Could you see a scenario where Aaron Rodgers hosts Jeopardy and continues to play quarterback for the Packers?
Oh, I mean, I would love to see it for theatrics. I mean, you and I would have a lot of great talks, leading after games during the week, if that was the case. But if you're going to do that, you better be careful of how you orchestrate it. I mean, you and I both know, like, if he has a game where he throws 3 interceptions and they lose by 10 points and he was, busy filming Jeopardy the Monday before, I mean, that's what we're going to roast him on. He's never going to hear the end of that.
Well,
so
he won't film any episodes during the season.
So you think it'll be all off-season stuff?
Yeah. It can happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can happen whatever.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I could see a scenario of that happening. I definitely can. The offseason, the way it's set up right now in the NFL, he can certainly pull that off. Work, get prepared for the Green Bay Packers, take a day here and there to do Jeopardy is not going to ruin his preparation. As long as it's not during the season, I kind of like it. I want to see it, actually.
Yeah, he can make this happen. It's about 50 days, but he's got to do 5 shows each day. And then you meet that number, and he'd be able to do it. But there's something else going on in Green Bay.
I agree. That's where I wanted to go with that. Yeah, I agree. There's something going on.
But the only way it changes is if they trade Jordan Love. As long as Jordan Love is there, then there's going to be, friction, something, that's underlying. And maybe it's not even that. It's percolating to the surface here.
If you made me bet money, I would say this is Aaron Rodgers last year in Green Bay. That it's over. That he's drawn a line in the sand. There's no clarity to his future, and he's gonna draw a line in the sand.
But he didn't draw the line in the sand.
I know he didn't.
The Packers did.
I think he's gonna draw his own line in the sand and be like, okay, you want to do this, and I see your line over there. I'm gonna wipe it away and draw my own line, and this is it. We're done. Yeah. I have that sense too, Dan. And I even brought up to Florio today about his restructuring of his contract. And I just thought, like, maybe he would say no to some of those things too, just to be like, no, I'm not helping you out. Sorry. We're not going to add years to my career or add years to the contract or anything like that. I'm going to make it to where I can wiggle and get the hell out of here if I want at the end of this season.
How did it work for the Patriots when they drew a line in the sand?
Well, not so good. Not so good. There's some similarities here, I think. I'm sure that's given Rodgers a little confidence to where he looks at it and goes, wait, they're not kind of, committing to me to the future, and they're not willing to kind of go all in to help me, which is some of the Brady issues with New England. And I'm out here at the end of my career where I need somebody that's going to go all in. It's my last push. And no, it didn't work out very well for the New England Patriots, and that's either.
But at some point, Chris, you have to utilize Jordan Love's contract. Like, you have to go, we drafted him. You don't want to get him into his 4th year, and then you go, okay, let's see what you have, and now we may have to franchise you or give you that extension. It just doesn't, that doesn't make practical sense for the Packers.
No. It's bad business. That's why picking them was bad business. I mean, let's go to the one position in our team that we know is top notch in the NFL. And you can't even argue he's not a top 3 at his position. Let's draft the guy for the future there. I mean, that's where it does not make sense to me at all. It never will.
Rodgers was just too good last year. Like, he was better than the Packers thought he was going to be, in my opinion.
I guess so. I guess there's something to that.
Because they're like, oh my God, he won the MVP.
I know. There was signs the year before, though. Even though it wasn't perfect the year before, there was still a lot of moments where you went, ooh, he's getting comfortable in this offense. This is starting to look like the old Aaron Rodgers once again. And of course, yeah, you're right. They're on the same page with him and LaFleur. Everything's perfect. Other than that, he could use another weapon to really kind of make that offense elite.
Thanks for joining us as always.
Hey, you the man.
Keep
Always
your head up.
Enjoy you. Yeah, I will. I'll keep working on my NCAA bracket. No problem.
Yeah. All right. That's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host with Mike Florio.